I can get me here because God gave me the gifts, the talents, the skills, and the tools necessary to get here. But if God gets into it, because again, don't forget, we pray like it all depends on God, but we work like it all depends on us, and we do everything with God. So there's always a God component to every single thing that we do. So I never set a goal that doesn't require God to be a part of it. So when it is attainable and achievable and acceptable, it's attainable because God has to be a part of it. I always create room that God has to be in the midst of that specific goal. But I also know that I can get this far, not by myself, but I can get this far with the gifts, the skills, the talents that God has given me. But I need that extra touch. I need that extra flavor with God being inside of it. And also, y'all, it needs to be achievable. It needs to be achievable. So this way, God, when I get there, God gets the glory, but I also feel like, okay, I just achieved something. So that's the A. Here's the R. It has to be relevant. It has to be realistic. Like, for example, you can't sit here and say, man, I want to be a billionaire by the end of this year. I get it. We speak what we seek until we see what we spoke. I get it. You put it into the atmosphere. You put it into the earth. You want to be a billionaire, but it has to be realistic. You can say, I want to be a billionaire, but maybe start off by saying, yo, I want to make $100,000 this year. And then next year, you know what? I want to make $100,000 every 6 months. Then you know what? Hey, man, I want to make $1 million this year, which is going to be about $83,000 a month. We got to start setting realistic goals. I'm not saying you cannot be a billionaire in 1 year, but it's very, 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 very hard. And so sometimes we set goals that we know it is really less than a 1% chance that this can happen. That's definitely something that all God has to be in it, not even you. Set goals that you know if you bust your behind and you keep God first, you can get there, but it's going to really require you to bust your behind. One of my goals for the rest of this year is I want my company to cross over. Not cross over. I want my company to be able to give away about $300,000 this year. Right now, we're at about like $120,000. We got 6 more months. What does that mean? My company needs to make more money so we can give away more money. Everyone sets goals of, I want to make 5 million, I want to make 10 million. I think that's great. One of my main goals was, hey, I want to give away 300,000. So if I'm giving away 300,000, I need to make at least not a half a million. I need to make at least $5 million to give that away. Bare minimum. Bare minimum. That's attainable. That's realistic. That's motivational. And watch this. It's rewarding. Do you know how rewarding it was last year? Last year, my pastor here at Union Church, we are in the process of building the main location, the studio location. I will house about 2,000-3,000 people in the studio, and my pastor is one of the best preachers and teachers of our generation. And I firmly believe that he is one of the greatest voices in the kingdom. And we need a new building to where he can take his voice further, longer, impact more people. In the process of building that building, it takes money to build that building. And I told him, hey, my company is going to be a part of this process. And we're going to help you over the years to come as we're building this process. We're going to give and be in a place where we can give $1 million over the next, several years to help this process start. Last year, we gave them right at about $150,000 towards the building, and it felt so good doing it. I remember telling him, man, that was the largest check that I just ever gave away with nothing coming back to me. No house, no car, no, I gave that money away, and I do not see nothing tangible, physical in my hands for giving $150,000. But I received something greater than something tangible. I received the fact that I am in a position, that my company is in a position to be a blessing to others, to help spread the gospel, to help house people, and to help introduce people to Christ. That felt so rewarding that I could be able to be in a position to do that. And so now the goal gets excited. I'm excited to where we get to be able to cut another check this year in 2023 to help the gospel reach people that I probably cannot reach, to help my pastor and his beautiful wife, to help my ministry impact millions of people across the world. That feels so rewarding to know that that the Neatness Network is a part of that. So we have the S, we have the M, we have the A, we have the R, then we have the T. Time-bound, trackable, and tangible. You see, goals need to have a spot to where you can see, okay, I want to do this by this particular date and time. It's not, hey, I just want to be debt-free. When do you want to be debt-free? I want to be debt-free by January 2024. Cool, great. Hey, I want my company to be able to make $1 million by 2025. Great, let's roll. I want to have a kid by this particular date and time. Cool, great. I want to have $1,000 in my starter emergency fund in the next 30 days. Great, let's go for it. I want to have at least $100,000 invested into a 401k, into some mutual funds within the next 6 months. Cool, great. How do we do that? You see, when we set trackable and tangible and time-bound goals, it gives us now the responsibility, watch this, write this down. Number 2, is to write down the goals. And then now when we write them down, we're now able to write the system, the strategy to get to that goal. So here's number 1. The reason why you haven't reached your money goals and your financial goals is because they're not SMART goals. And I just gave you the acronym for them. Number 2 is you don't have your goals written down. And if you do not have your goals written down, this means that you're forgetting about some of your goals. You probably even forgot about 2 or 3 that you set out in January. You forgot about the vision because you didn't write the vision down and make it plain. Write the freaking vision. Last month, everyone's year starts in January. Everyone's year starts in January. My year starts July 1st. July 1st is my birthday. This is the last year that I will be in my 30s. Next year, I'm 40. I wrote some things down in my book from my 39th year that I don't want to take into my 40th. I'm a grown man. And I'll be transparent, man. There are some childish things that I need to leave in my 30s. There are some immature things that I need to leave in my 30s. There are some thought processes that I need to leave in my 30s. There are some immature things that I know that I have that I need to leave in my 30s. And you know what? I wrote them all down during my sabbatical in the month of July. And my goal is by July 1st of 2024 that I'm going into my 40th season, not a new man, but a better man. And I wrote them down so that way as I'm meeting with my mentors, as I'm meeting with my close friends who hold me accountable, as I am talking with my therapist, and watch this, as I'm talking with myself, I can hold myself accountable. Because here's what I realized. When we write things down, it makes it more real. If that's even proper grammar. It makes it like, wait, that's, wow, I did say that. Because here's the truth. If we do not write down the vision, if we do not write down the goals, they do not exist, period. They do not exist. They're just a thought. They're just an idea that you thought of, because when we write it down, that's when it becomes real.